Welcome to the Mystic Millionaire podcast, where wealth is energy, success is a mindset, and abundance is your birthright. I am Danielle Amos, your host and mentor, here to help you unlock prosperity, embody confidence, and manifest a life you love. Take a breath, align with your truth, and let's manifest millions. For nearly 3 decades, Atlanta has been more than home to Jessica Caballero. It's where she's grown, evolved, and built her thriving real estate career. Her journey began in 2015 when she purchased her first home, an experience that felt confusing and impersonal. That moment sparked a mission to create the kind of client experience she had wished she'd had. After 2 years of industry research, Jessica left her corporate role as a creative director to launch Jess in the City, a brand rooted in integrity, hospitality, and lifelong relationships. To her, real estate isn't just about transactions. It's about people, trust, and providing red carpet service from start to finish. What sets her apart is a holistic, human-first approach. Jessica is more than a realtor. She's a lifestyle resource and long-term partner, guiding clients through every stage of home ownership and life in Atlanta. Her mission? To grow with her clients and redefine what it means to serve in real estate. With a passion for people and a commitment to excellence, Jess in the City is building more than homes. It's building a legacy, one relationship at a time. So Jess and I got connected through a mutual friend, my bestie, Jake, and she's here in the studio today to talk about not only her real estate career, but how she has a lifelong journey with success. Actually, I called her an unconscious competent, and she's one that's manifested her dream partner. She's in this career that's thriving, and she made something very clear, how she has always prioritized personal development and coaching. And so we're going to talk about that and how she's had to learn to change herself to attract the people into her life, her clients into her life, to really live a life that she's loving today. Join me in this episode as we go behind the scenes with Jess to talk about her new marriage and then bring relationships forefront in the episode. Thank you for being here. I'd like to welcome Jessica to the Mystic Millionaire podcast studio. Thank you for being here today. Jess in the City.
Jess in the City.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
So we're going to talk about a few things today. One, you're a real estate agent and you've got an empire in real estate and you've been doing that for a long time in a very special, unique way. I noticed words in your bio like integrity, the importance of relationships. So I'd like to ask you about that.
Absolutely.
And then your identity shifting and how you've grown throughout the years of your career. I know personal development is very important to you.
It is, yes.
So we'll touch on that too. How does that sound?
That sounds wonderful. I can't wait to get into it.
So talk to me a little bit about your career and how you become so successful.
Yeah, thank you. So before real estate, I was a creative director, art director in the design world for about 23 years in corporate America. And it was one of those professions where creatively, I was just always a creative person as a child. So I thought I'll go to art school, pursue that. And I feel like it was a career that chose me. It was, a bit of the pressure of like you go to college and then you pursue this career and you work corporate America, 9 to 5, et cetera. And what I didn't realize until midway into that career was that did not fit my personality. I have been asked to leave some companies. I have left on my own because it wasn't the right fit. And that was a reoccurring theme for me. And I thought, okay, something is going on here. Am I led to do something different? So let me think. It was 2013. I had this idea of hiring a career coach. I proponent. I love coaching. I loved it before it became super trendy and popular. And I need help. I'm going to the source. Tell me what you know. Yeah. So I'm not going to someone that's not doing it. So
I love that.
I hired this lovely lady, Dorothy. And she was fantastic. She sat with me and I said, I'm just a little lost. I don't know if the corporate life is for me anymore. And I don't know what to do next. So she had a really great conversation with me. We met at Whole Foods And she said, we're going to talk about your life from a different perspective that you may not normally think of. And it's from, like, if you were to wake up tomorrow and you're doing whatever this wonderful job is or this career, how does your day look? Let's like design your day, and then we're going to go into a week, and then it's going to be 6 months, and then a year, and it was like, okay, never had to think that way.
Yeah.
So it took me a while to really kind of figure out what that looks like. I'm like, if I were doing whatever I wanted to do, how would that look? I'm a morning person. I'm an early riser, like 5:30 in the morning. And I thought, wouldn't it be wonderful between like 5:30 and 8:30 just to have time for me, just to write a little, read, just reconnect with myself before I give myself to other people and, share my expertise on whatever this dream job is. So that was sacred, that morning time. That's what I understood. There was a part of my day that I wanted to have it be social as well. So whether it's meeting up with a friend during lunch or a client, but just to kind of cultivate the relationships in my life. So yeah, and so that was just like just to kind of sum up what we talked about. And then eventually we got deeper and we talked about a life plan, which was something I had never heard of in my life. It's like, how do you see yourself living your life? And that's actually still a work in progress for me, but I think I'm getting there.
So then she asked you those questions, and then from there it was like real estate would fit that?
We actually didn't talk about any careers until the third session.
Okay. Yeah.
It was more of lifestyle and how do you want to live your life? And then we kind of backed into it with, well, what does that mean from a financial perspective? Okay, what are the things that you could possibly do that's going to meet that, financial need, et cetera. So on our third date, we talked about possible industries. She was great because she was just like, well, she did an assessment on me. We did a disc management profile on me, and which I'm obsessed with and I love, because I got to learn a little bit more about my style in terms of my approach and how people view me, et cetera. So we talked about that. And she said, you have this great database. You are very social, but you're also an introvert, which people don't know about you. And so you need time to retreat. And she's like, and you want to provide high levels of service. She's like, this is what we have. So she said real estate. And I said, okay, I'm going to be that 40-year-old chick that's going to be a realtor. I was like, there's hundreds of us here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And not to diminish that, but I'm like, no, there's got to be something deeper, something better. And so I ignored that first comment, and I actually ended up going into a styling business first, and where I helped wardrobe style people. And that was a lot of fun, but that was short-lived. And then I circled back around with Dorothy and said, okay, I think you may be right here, but I don't want to do it like everybody else does it. So how do I do it where, I don't know, there's more of a connection, it's more meaningful. I want to grow old with everyone. I want to help you, your children, your grandchildren, upsize, downsize, marriage, death, and all the things that happen to us in our lives. Like, how can I be an essential part of someone's life like that?
That's cool. So you created your own definition of what it means to be a real estate agent. Yeah.
And when I think about it from my perspective, if I do business with anyone, I want that, from my dentist. I mean, I'm the person that befriends most of the people that provide a service to me. Yeah. My dentist, my doctor, I just love these people because
that's what makes you such a great connector. Exactly. Like to her point, right?
Yes, exactly.
I want to go backtrack a little bit.
Sure.
You said that you're an introvert, and being an agent is very much an extroverted career.
Yeah.
So what do you do as an introvert to fill your own cup, to recharge?
Yes. I need a day for myself. Okay. Especially after, like, if I have a full weekend, let's say I'm showing people that are from out of town and we just roll out the red carpet for them all weekend, it's a long day. I mean, these are like 8 to 9 hour days. And not only are we talking about business, but we're being social. And then I get home and I'm just like completely depleted. So most likely that Monday and Tuesday, I'm silent. I am by myself. I'm on the 4th floor of my townhouse, just me and my kitty cat. And this is the great part about David, my husband. He completely understands it. And he'll drop off a tray of food or like a glass of wine or something for me. But I need that downtime to decompress. I do a little bit of writing. Anything that might be frustrating me, I try to get it out on paper, and some reading. Sometimes a little Netflixing, that type of thing. But
And beautiful that you attracted a partner that will let you be and not make that mean anything about him or your relationship.
That was
It's
learned
like,
behavior.
yeah, okay.
Did not start off that way. He was very offended and like, what is going on with her? The first year we were dating, like, did I do something? I'm like, it is not about you, love.
Yeah.
This is about me and this is the way that I have to just recharge. And I'm so much better when I don't recharge. I get burnt out.
Well, this, I think for a lot of our listeners who may be people pleasers, that we brought that up previously, that if you weren't the way that you are, then hearing David say like, what's wrong, you may ignore your own whispers, your own knowing about what's best for you to make sure that he feels comfortable. But we can't do that. We got to trust ourselves and put ourselves first always. Yeah.
And I'm glad he's accepted that too. The interesting part is that I don't know if it's rubbed off on him, but he also needs that time too. And I can tell when he does. We veg out in a very different way, but if he needs to watch his March Madness for 3 days straight, I will just, let him do that happily.
Yeah. And not judge.
No.
It's hard.
No, I know that it's hard to do.
Yeah.
But it's not something that's reoccurring. So it's just, every now and again for him. So
That's great.
yeah.
So in your bio, you talk about integrity. I love that word. It's a value in our company and a word that we talk about a lot inside our community.
Sure.
What does integrity mean to you, Jess?
Oh, gosh. I mean, being someone of honor, being someone that I guess has grace, that can deliver a message to people with love and have them know that I have their best interests at heart at the end of the day.
And I know we're both Landmark grads.
We are.
So integrity is a big part of the forum
Yeah.
as well. And and making sure that it's not a moral thing. So I think of that often because when people out there maybe hear about integrity, it's like a judgment, I'm either in integrity or not. And if I'm not, then I'm not a good person.
Right. Yeah.
It's way more than that.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about personal development? We mentioned Landmark, and it's clear that personal development and growth is a key pillar for who you are.
Definitely. If I can, I like to story tell a little bit.
Yes,
and then I lose my train of thought because I do, but just bring me back.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. 2014, I remember, because I purchased my first place and I was sitting down unloading books from a box that I had never read. And The Four Agreements was one of the books. And I remember getting that book when I was 18. Saw it on Oprah Winfrey, and anything Oprah touched, of course, I was like, well, I need that. And I was really intrigued by Don Miguel Ruiz, that he was on the show at the time. And so I just remember having that memory as this book is sitting on my lap. And I'm just like, so I just start flipping through the book. I read the entire book in about 3.5 hours on the floor of my new condo at the time. And I thought, oh my gosh, it was like, this is incredible. Like such an easy and simple concept. Why don't I do this? Why do I take things personally? Why don't, am I being impeccable with my word? Like all of these really great things that he brings up. And so, which shortly led to a phone call to my life coach. And I said, why have I never picked this book up? And she's like, well, it was probably waiting for you. And it came to you at the right moment, which I do believe that. So I think this is for me. 100% books come to me when they need to. So I collect them until I want to open them up. Yeah. So this is one of them. And so that led me down the path of Landmark. I had some people in my circle that were Landmark graduates, and I was hesitant because, with everything that is, when you're changing your way of thinking in groups, people tend to call them things like cults and things of that nature. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to try it and see what happens. And I remember going to Landmark. I was the first person there. I had my lunch bag. I felt like I was that little 5-year-old girl in kindergarten with the bob and the little barrette. And I came into school and I'm looking at 100 chairs and they had Kleenex boxes under each chair. And I'm like, oh no.
That's
I'm a crier to begin with.
Yeah.
So I already started to cry because I was nervous. I'm like, what is this thing about? And by the second day, I was on stage telling my life story to everybody and writing a letter to my mom, which was a really hard thing to do, and addressing her about certain things in our life and how I was taking responsibility for certain things. And it was so powerful.
Yeah.
Like I get a little emotional right now thinking about it. But yeah, it was good.
with Landmark, it has you complete the past. Remember
Oh, yeah.
that? So that we can move forward with a clean slate. And part of that completion means taking responsibility. And your energy completely shifted as you remembered back to taking responsibility with your
Absolutely.
mom.
It was, gosh, it was so powerful because I remember them saying, okay, you need to write a letter to someone that you've, not that you're on the outs with, but that there's some conflict there in your relationship. Just tell them it's okay. And this is what I'm going to do moving forward in our relationship to have a good relationship with you. I don't expect anything from you. And they said it could either result in a breakdown or a breakthrough. And it was a breakthrough. I mean, my mom's a tough lady. So to have a breakthrough, and I remember reading the letter to her. I was at a gas station on my way to Landmark. And I was like, Mom, I've got this thing. And my hand is shaking as an adult. And I'm just like a child right now. And I remember she's like, I don't know what you're doing over there. And she's just like, but it sounds really powerful. And she's like, and I accept everything that you say. Wow. And that was like, whoa, you know? And then I also had the opposite with my sister. You know, I had a letter to her and there was a complete and utter breakdown on her part. And that was hard because it was like, this is not the happy ending I was hoping for, but I had to accept that too. So it's, man, if everyone could take Landmark and really absorb it the way that I did,
yeah, it's powerful.
it would be really powerful. I think relationships would be different ultimately. Yeah. So
yeah, I agree. It's a huge commitment for people the whole weekend, and it can freak people out. But
Totally.
if they can trust, if they have the call, I think it's not for everyone, but if they have the call, it can be life changing and give us tools to communicate. And I think where the power comes is taking responsibility.
Yes.
Because it's very easy to be a victim to circumstances or to the other people in our life,
Absolutely.
but to recognize the role that we play and that we can make a change.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The storytelling, that was a big one for me too. The storytelling part about, so I don't know how many folks out there have been to Landmark, but again, you should. I get nothing from that, by the way, but when they said, tell this story about your childhood, if you were to read, so I wrote the story about my childhood, and it was about how my perception of my mother, my sister, us growing up in New York City, and they're like, okay, we'll rewrite it now from a factual perspective. Take out all of the extra. And I was like, wow. Okay, well, that's a very different story I'm telling. I was talking about my mother and her personality and how it made me feel. And then my sister, and she didn't like me. And it was just all this stuff, it was just so loaded with a story, So I have learned from that experience to try to strip away some of the emotion to really understand. And this is crucial in my business, by the way. When I hear people's storytelling, I can immediately eliminate the pain, the trauma, the hurt, and just like, okay, they're terrified because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. And
I'm not a professional here, but like I am able to, I play one on TV.
But this being the fact and all the rest is the emotion. And in Landmark, they say we're story making machines. So I often bring that to my clients. They don't necessarily know where it's come from. But I'm like, okay, you're making up a story anyway. Why not make up a story that serves you? Because ultimately you don't know.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So true.
So great. Okay, so let's talk about what else in personal development or growth that you've used or tools to get you from where you started in your career to where you are now.
Yeah.
What have you found valuable?
See,
You've had a life coach for how long?
17 years.
Wow.
Same person. Love her to death. So her and I, we've done this thing, and I don't know what it's called, so you might have the name for it, but again, something that I really appreciate. We talk about, so I'm emotionally, sometimes I'm stunted, and this little 13-year-old girl that wants to stomp her foot and say life isn't fair. And I find that when I am in challenging positions, that's what I think of in my head. And she's like, we are all, every human on this planet is stunted emotionally somewhere along their life. And she's like, wouldn't it be an interesting thing to kind of, if you're interacting with someone and they're responding a certain way, to kind of break it down in your mind, kind of like that. Figure out where they were stunted possibly. Are they 8? Are they 5? You know what I mean? So I don't say this out loud to people, but I definitely think about that. And it gives me more grace too with people. It helps me kind of judge them less or get defensive with them, and more of just they're just really trying to do the best they can with what they have and those tools. And I'm so happy that she's kind of taught me that little exercise, because I know when I'm acting out and how that looks, but I can also put her in a corner.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's been a really helpful thing that I've learned through her.
It sounds like you build compassion and put yourself in their shoes to understand, okay, if this is coming up,
Absolutely.
like
Yeah.
8-year-old version of me, or
100%. I did a women's retreat with Sean about 8 years ago in Asheville, North Carolina. And it was the title of it was for her type A women.
okay.
And so I was one of
Yeah.
them. And we had to come with something we wanted to solve for that weekend. And it was an intense weekend, much like Landmark. You get to her house, there was Kleenex everywhere. I was like, oh boy, here we are. And I wanted to solve for, how do I have love and compassion for people that piss me off, that really upset me, that get under my skin, all the things, because I am human and that happens, or that I'm not really that fond of their personality. Like, how do I still have love for them? Maybe they're going through something that I have no idea about. So I'm still working on that. But I will say we had some really great conversations around it at the table. And she said, think about them like from like a child's perspective. Like, we have a lot of compassion and love for like children and babies and puppies and kittens. But for full grown people, we don't always have that. We think that they should know. And there's a lot of like, you should this, you should that. But not everyone's on the same path. Yeah. So, how do you know if have they developed that or not yet? So I have to pause when I'm in those moments again. There's a lot of pausing in my life, by the way, and think, okay, let me just love this person where they're at right now and try to figure out what the thing is, and maybe even end it off with a hug or something like that. But I don't want to dislike anyone. Like, I want to understand. And I feel like the people that are harder and they've got that exterior, or they're abrasive, I mean, they're in pain. They're absolutely in pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great quote by Marianne Williamson: every act is either love or a cry for love. And when we're aware, we know if someone's acting in love, and if they're not, it's our responsibility to give love as they're crying for it.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great. It's good. So in real estate, let's bring it back to your career and how you help people and how you're doing it differently. So when did you birth Jess in the City?
Yes.
Great name.
Thank you. So 2017.
Okay.
That was I called on a friend of mine that was a graphic designer, and I said, hey, I need a concept for a logo. It really won't mean anything until maybe 5 years from now anyway, but something catchy. And so she came back with 2 concepts, and I laughed at the first one. She's like, how about Queen of the South? I'm like, I think that's a bit much, but thank you.
Love that.
And then the second one was Jess in the City. And I'm like, this is perfect. Like, who didn't love Sex in the City when it was on? And I thought it was fabulous. So we've had a few iterations of the logo since, but it's always remained Jess in the City. And we added a tagline a few years ago, your lifestyle realtor. So and that kind of is a nod to Dorothy, my life coach, or career coach, where we talked about the lifestyle you want to lead. And, what I do is more than just connecting someone with a home. It's such an emotional experience, and it's so much more than finding a house for them. It's just really like understanding them and being able to provide service and add value in their lives in other ways. And I do try to do that with my clients and my friends that I help. I always say, like, this is not the last you'll ever see of me. So I'm not that one and done, the transactional person. I've actually said no to transactional business just because I don't know how to operate with that. I'm just like, I don't know if I'm the right person for you. I might care too much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So not everyone's for me either. And I'm not for everyone, but yeah, so that's my business. But I saw an opportunity years ago when I was purchasing my real estate to do it a little bit differently, be someone that can inform people, be a teacher, but, ask the right questions and really connect with people in order to help them. And also break down any sort of walls around, people are afraid to ask questions or sound silly or feel like they're saying something dumb. It's just like, I want to remove all of that when people talk to me. It's just like, it's okay to not know.
Yeah, you're not meant to know.
You're not
meant to know. You're
I
the
tell you, I had
expert.
a conversation the other day with my best friend, and she is also a financial planner. And we actually had a very candid conversation about money, and I was crying at the table literally because I'm like, I did not know I should be doing that. It's just like, oh my gosh. She's like, it's okay. She's just like, I got you. Like, I'm going to help you with that. And there was no judgment. And I was like, okay, so we're meeting this Thursday. And she is actually going to create a complete budget for my business, which I've never done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know I had to do that, by the way. So yeah, so I want people that seek me out to know that it's a different kind of relationship. If they're okay with having me in their life forever, that's what's probably going to happen.
Yeah. I love that you bring lifestyle into it, because a home is more than where you sleep.
100%.
Yeah. So what are some of the questions that you ask to get that idea of who a person is and their family, and what kind of home that you're...
So what I have done over the past couple of years, I created a system around it where I have a questionnaire where I ask people certain questions. Half of the people fill it out. Others, we have that verbal conversation. I want to know what they're doing from a lifestyle perspective. Are they going to the wine bars? Are they staying within their 3-mile radius? Are they really like adventure seekers? Do they outdoorsy? Are they cyclists? Like, we're talking about all of it. And, if you have a family, that's, a different scenario, like schools, if you want to be around, country clubs. So I just want to kind of get to know them a bit more. And I also do a little bit of Facebooking and LinkedIn to really understand their lives. So when I'm looking at their photos and I'm like, okay, well, they're in front of the YMCA in this part of town. Like, obviously going to the pool in the summer is really important to them. And I just start to almost create a dossier on all of my clients. And that is a very long Google Doc that I have, by the way, on everyone that I've ever worked with. And I try to learn more, especially from my clients that are not the best communicators. Not everyone wants to share with me.
Yeah.
So I just find ways.
Well, that's huge, because it feels like you would most likely save a lot of time understanding them, like doing that research. Then you can present the homes and the products that meet those expectations, rather than going through all of these homes and having to figure out why one doesn't work and the other one does, or having someone find a home and then a year later find it's in the wrong area, for example.
No, that's never a good thing.
Yeah.
So I normally don't help people find the house. I have to be really honest. With all of the tools out there and how savvy buyers are these days, there's so much access to information that they can decipher if they like that house or not. I'm there for the hard part,
Which is
the things that are the behind the scenes that they don't get to see. So the relationship between me and the other agent, the co-op agent, they call them, is super important. The dynamic between us, so that I can understand their client. And some of them will not share a word about their client and hold everything very close to their chest. So it's about me kind of breaking through that a little bit. And it's just it's really important to pick up the phone in our industry. Texting and emailing doesn't always work, in my opinion. So how can I build a rapport with that person too, to get to understand and know them? Did they just win an award? Hey, by the way, I saw you got a top producer. That's awesome. So did I. Woo. And then we can then get into the nitty gritty of it. So again, another layer of relationships my clients don't even think about when it comes to this.
And they don't want to be doing. No.
They don't even
They just
don't
want the home.
understand that concept at all. So my job is to understand what their client needs and wants and what their pain points are. And it's not to take advantage of them, but it's just to understand it so that I can bring it back and say, I think this is what the hesitation might be. Yeah. Because what I've learned as well in this industry, it's very easy to go and create that story and go negative. Oh, well, they're playing hardball or they're doing this. And I'm like, maybe not. There's something else behind that. Let's figure out what that is. That's my job to do. So when I bring back that information and try to soften that a bit, I feel like it changes the dynamic of what we do. It puts everyone at ease, which is my job, right? I'm supposed to be the eye of the storm and super calm about everything, even though I'm freaking out inside sometimes. And so that's huge. It is huge. It is huge. Yeah, there's paperwork and there's stuff like that. I have a really great assistant that helps me with that piece. I am more of the client-facing relationship person. And then there's a little part of me that really likes to get underneath a house and dissect a crawl space in a basement. I don't know what that's about, but I probably should have been a general contractor to build homes, but there's something about construction of homes that I really like. So the more I know, the more I can give to my folks and say, hey, this is what I've seen. This is what I've experienced in my home. You may want to watch out for this. And, just again, to provide that value.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's added value
as
an agent. Also, I can see the landmark stuff coming in as you build your relationship with your clients because you're
Yes.
helping them reframe. Like if someone that they're buying from comes back with a certain excuse and you say, well, that may not be the full story. Let's reframe that, create a story
Absolutely.
that serves us.
Constant.
And
Yeah.
so that the energy changes and therefore the transaction changes.
I have to watch that because I have had some times where people are like, well, you're taking someone else's side. And I'm like, no, I'm actually staying neutral.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'm staying neutral. But sometimes it could be perceived that it's like, well, real estate does not have to be hardball.
No.
It just does not have to be that way, especially if it's from one family to the next and you're selling. If it's someone that's an investor selling, sometimes that dynamic is a bit different because it's just about their bottom line. But when it's family to family, I'm just like, they're in the same position that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's figure out the
And
details.
the family leaving had memories and the family coming's memories. And if
Absolutely.
we can create that human connection, there's such a
Absolutely.
gift.
Yeah.
You mentioned in passing that like when you're speaking with another agent, you're like, oh, if there's a connection with awards,
Yeah. Or
you can
something.
say like, woo.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you've won a lot of awards in your career. Have you used any tools to manifest them that you know of? Or what's been your secret sauce in getting what you want out of life in your career?
Wow. In my career. I literally pray every day for the right people to come my way. I want my people to work with me. I'm a loyalist. I am loyal to the people that provide good service to me and I want that in return. So I pray every day. I'm like, maybe today I'll meet someone like that really values that and that wants me to be that trusted advisor for the rest of their lives in this industry where it's like, hey, Jess, I'm not moving to, I'm moving to California, let's say. I hope they call me. I want them to call me to say, can you connect me with someone just like you or similar to your style in a different market? And that, if someone said that and called me that'd be amazing. We're actually, I'm with Sotheby's in Atlanta, and we're changing what we call each other. We don't call each other real estate agents anymore in our office. We are real estate advisors.
Love that.
If anything, we're global real estate advisors because Sotheby's is everywhere. And I do an annual event. It's called G&E. Last year was in Nashville. And agents from everywhere, all over the world come to this event. And we get to network with one another. And that's where I really get to understand and know. I'm like, I would definitely refer that person based on their style, what they've done. And they don't always have to be top producing agents, but it's about, if there's just like a certain something that I'm looking for so that they can be on my list that I can refer in the future.
And if you're looking for a certain quality, do you make sure that you're embodying that quality as well?
Absolutely.
It feels like that's
100%. So if I ever make a connection for someone that way, I'm calling that agent first. And said, okay, this is my client. This is who they are. This is what I know about them and what I've experienced. This is how I help them in the industry. And they're probably looking for something very similar. Is that something that you do? Or if that's not, tell me what your process is. Because we're all independent contractors and our processes are very different from one person to the next. So I kind of vet them out a bit and make sure that they know, you're getting my type A accountant here. Make sure you've got that spreadsheet ready.
Yeah, and you're taking care of them in the same
exactly.
way.
Or
Love
you
that.
have a very skittish, first-time buyer that doesn't have a lot of money. Like, please treat them well and they will grow with you, So, yeah.
Great.
I'm a connector. I've always
Yeah, I
been
feel
that
that.
way. So I like making connections for anything. I recently had a client, unfortunately, that lost her job, and I've called her at least 6 times, and I'm sure she's like, why does she keep calling me? And I just am like, please use me as a resource. I've known so many people in the industry that she's in. I'm like, I want to make a connection for you, please. And I get nothing from that other than making that connection for her. Like, she has a newborn baby. She needs a job.
Yeah.
So,
What a gift.
yeah.
Thank you for being that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, as we wrap this amazing episode, do you have any last words of wisdom for our listeners? What comes to you?
What comes to me? Well, I don't know. Work on yourself. Work on yourself. Quit trying to change others and work on you.
Boom. Mic drop. Okay, I've got 3 rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
The first, abundance in one word. Go.
Joy.
Okay. Second, you're on the Mystic Millionaire podcast. Millionaire mindset. Do you have a non-negotiable, guilt-free thing that you do or invest in to keep your energy
high massage once a month.
Ah, okay. Love that. Third question. You have one book to read for the rest of your life, and you have to read the same book over and over. What book is it?
The Mastery of Self.
Okay. Do you remember who wrote it?
Don Miguel Ruiz.
Oh, okay.
It's one of his books. Everything that man has written is in my library, and The Mastery of Self is all about unconditional love and starting with yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jess in the City. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.